Sponsored by Catchpoint, the leader in digital experience management.
Hi, I'm Chris Lopez, Technical Marketing Engineer for Catchpoint. For today's tech tip, I'm going to be going over use cases that are unique to our Network Insights solution. If you're not familiar, Catchpoint helps users identify and resolve Layer 3 to Layer 7 network issues, both internally and beyond the DMARC, thanks to Network Insights. There are a lot of practical uses for the solution, but today I'm just going to focus on BGP leaks and hijacks. And as you'll see, this has become a more relevant issue today than it's ever been before. I'll go over briefly the nature of BGP, why it's considered a vulnerable protocol, and why BGP leaks and hijacks are critical threats to both service providers and clients. Then I'll go over how Catchpoint is able to detect a BGP leak inside of a lab, and then I'll go over how Catchpoint actually detected a BGP leak a few weeks ago with a major service provider. Let's dive in. Well, monitoring BGP is critical because its design logic did not include security. To quote Kirk Lauhe, in the early days of the internet, getting stuff to work was the primary goal. Security was not a big issue. And as any network engineer can tell you, BGP is the routing protocol of the internet. When a new BGP autonomous system is set up, the first thing it does is announce its presence to all of its neighbors and informs them that there's a route towards the network that it owns. BGP routes are essentially agreements between various autonomous systems. And because it's more or less run on the honor system, if someone created an autonomous system with like a duplicate subnet, or even just one that overlapped a little bit, that new autonomous system would start receiving traffic that it's not supposed to be. This is why BGP is prone to attacks and misconfigurations. It can lead to outcomes like having your traffic dropped, or having it sniffed, or getting lured into a man-in-the-middle attack by someone who just stole a valid route. And even if no bad actors are involved, BGP leaks can instantly tank business services and customer experience right along with it, which is why everyone cares about it so much. With this in mind, I'm going to hop into the Catchpoint SaaS platform and show you what it looks like when Network Insights detects a BGP leak. Here, inside the software, we're looking at one of the core aspects of Network Insights. It's traceroute. Thanks to Catchpoint's 830 external monitoring stations, we are able to trace the path of a service that our clients are using here in North America. And we'll see Network Insights account for every single hop along this path as traffic is passed between different autonomous systems. We can also see it's giving us information on route announcements, withdrawals, availability, and all of the autonomous systems that are involved in this transaction. Now, in this scenario, I'm going to expand this time frame a little bit, and we'll be able to see a number of route announcements occurred around 4 p.m. The one that's important here is the one that seems to be diverting traffic from Google's autonomous system. As we can see, this autonomous system began broadcasting a similar address. Because the traffic is not being dropped, our users are either fortunate or someone is intentionally diverting their traffic. But either way, this represents a major issue for the CDN provider, and it should be addressed immediately. With Network Insights, users can generate passive alerts based on BGP elements like peering thresholds, meaning it'll be able to see if one particular BGP peer is dropping traffic. It'll look at the AS number, so you can make sure that your traffic is originating from and being handled by the appropriate autonomous system, prefix mismatches, country, registry, and more, and then provide it all in a smartboard very much like this one. But this example doesn't quite illustrate the gravity of what happens if a BGP leak or hijack is allowed to go on for too long, so I'm going to move on to a real-life example. Cloudflare. In late August, Cloudflare experienced some serious issues related to a BGP leak. One of their smaller downstream providers broadcasted a similar subnet to an existing provider, Level 3. This caused existing members of the CDN to de-peer from Level 3 and peer instead with Telia. As a result of this misconfiguration, users experienced DNS resolution errors, TCP connection failures, and in some cases, key web elements would altogether fail to load. This outage caused, at its peak, 15% of user traffic to be dropped entirely. And when you apply an outage to the scale of the internet, the potential losses worldwide must have been devastatingly high. And we can actually take a look at it inside of the software. Here, I'm looking at archived data from some North American ISPs that's timed specifically around this Cloudflare outage. We can see around this time, it already had a route that used level 3, but another route was announced that went directly to Telia, indicating the cutover that I was talking about earlier. There are many factors involved, so it's hard to determine exactly why it all happened, but with Network Insights alerts, we would have been able to see that ISPs announced a subnet that they did not own, that transit providers did not check the announcement before relaying it to their neighbors, and we'd be able to point out websites that were hosted in countries that didn't enforce legitimate certificates. Had anyone in this scenario been provided this kind of information, they could have at least cauterized the outage or prevented it altogether. This kind of thing can happen all the time, and it's up to the providers to arm themselves with actionable intelligence when they're dealing with a vulnerable protocol like this. Now more than ever, measuring and improving digital experience is going to affect businesses in a significant way. As you've seen, Network Insights provides a powerful lens people can point at potential problems. And while there are a lot of examples of Network Insights I'd love to show you, that's all the time we've got for today, so I'll just leave us with a thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.
Sponsored by Catchpoint, the leader in digital experience management.